Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and welcome back to Sentinel Reviews. Today we are reviewing the second of Spotify's DC Comics audio dramas, Harley Quinn and the Joker: Sound Mind. Released January 31st of 2023, created by, written and directed by Eli Horowitz. Harley Quinn and the Joker: Sound Mind stars Christina Ricci as Dr. Harleen Quinzel, Billy Magnuson as the Joker, and Justin Hartley as Bruce Wayne. This series ran for 7 episodes. As always, there is a blanket spoiler warning in place, so if you do not want to be spoiled for the events of Harley Quinn and the Joker: Sound Mind, it is on Spotify. I highly recommend you seek it out. Actually, I recommend you seek all of these out. All 3 of them that we have so far are actually really good. And actually, in that regard, if I was trying to be objective, Harley Quinn and the Joker's Sound Mind might possibly be the weakest one. I don't know, but there is no such thing as objectivity in art, so it is my favorite of the 3. Like, hands down, full stop. For me, this is the best one. And so obviously this takes place in a very different setting. This is not part of Batman Unburied. It's not a sequel. It's not tied into it in any way. Noticeably by the fact that Bruce Wayne is played by Justin Hartley. But what Harley Quinn and the Joker: Sound Mind is it is a retelling of Harley Quinn's origin story into something a little bit more palatable. Now, if you don't remember, or you've never watched Batman the Animated Series, where Harley Quinn was created, Dr. Harleen Quinzel was a psychiatrist. I can never remember the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist at Arkham Asylum, where she was the doctor assigned to treat the Joker. And instead, the tables were turned, the Joker seduced her, and she became his accomplice and sort of his sidekick, Harley Quinn. Again, like I said, this is a retelling of that story because, well, actually, I'm not going to get into a lot of that, but it is obviously done. It follows those same plot beats, but it is done a little different. Like a lot of the Harley joining the Joker because she's seduced by him, that doesn't happen. In fact, in a lot of ways, also, by the way, I am not doing the spoiler tag for this like I did for Batman Unburied because, one, that was actually kind of a pain to edit and it took up a lot of rendering time, and two, again, this is a retelling of Harley Quinn's origin story. I don't think you really need that. But anyway, as I was saying, rather than just being a woman seduced by the Joker, which kind of has some issues, it's a little bit sexist because, Harley, joining the villain because she fell in love with him. It's a thing. We're not going to get into that. There is a lot of commentary the story makes, and we're going to talk about that, but that is not one of the things it's doing in this approach. Essentially, this story plays Harley as a woman who is pushed to her breaking point. In fact, the defining moment where Harley essentially becomes Harley Quinn doesn't happen until the final episode of this series. Again, this is 7 episodes. Like Batman Unburied, all 7 episodes are essential. There's no filler, there's no fluff. It is exactly how long it needs to be. But as I was saying, Harley is essentially a woman pushed to her breaking point, and she sees the Joker as a means to an end. She is a doctor at Arkham trying to treat patients. Her superiors and her supervisors look down on her. They see her as just box ticking. They see her as just a woman. They don't give her the cases she can take. I just said they look down on her. This story makes a lot of commentary about women in the workplace and how they're viewed, especially if their supervisors and their superiors are men. This story makes a bit of a commentary about that. I really want to save the commentary because that is one of the best things about this story. And in her personal life too, she has her own issues. Now, I don't know what Harley's backstory was or how it often is interpreted. Like, for example, in Harley Quinn, she came from a somewhat loving, if not scummy, family, if you remember the episode Bensonhurst. But Um, Here she was brought up by a single dad. Her mom is not in the picture. It's not really implied what happened, because her aunt, played by Amy Sedaris, makes a comment about, all the money she lent Harley's mom went up her arm. So she's either not in the picture or she is outright dead. But basically, she was raised by a single dad who worked at a chemical plant, and now that he is retired, he is very sick. In fact, he has cancer. Heavily, heavily implied to be from the chemical plant he worked at. And now Harley is trying to do everything she can to raise the money for his operation. And around that time, she is assigned to treat the Joker. And as they talk, she sees the Joker as a means to an end. He talks about how bank robberies are super easy, and so she concocts this scheme to break him out, so he can steal the money for her, and she kind of manipulates him. Again, this is really good, but this leads into like the one thing I would critique about this particular story. It does good at giving Harley more of her own agency and not kind of leaning into the sexist, she kind of became a criminal out of love trope. But then it overcorrects, because obviously if you're familiar with these characters, the Harley Joker romance is one-sided and incredibly abusive. And here, while not abusive, the Harley Joker romance is still very one-sided. Because this series, in its portrayals and in its performances, makes it very clear Harley is not in love with the Joker. Which is fine. Like I said, she sees him as a means to an end. She is manipulating and using him. But the thing where I have issues is that the Joker is portrayed as being legitimately in love with Harley. So it is still a one-sided romance. Again, just with how long the Joker's been around, the character is obviously open to some interpretations, but this is just something that doesn't feel right. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's wrong, but it just doesn't feel right. But the performances do make up for that a little bit. Speaking of, now let's talk about the performances, because our three leads are all pretty good. The standout is, of course, Christina Ricci as Harleen Quinzel. She carries this entire thing. She is spectacular. Christina Ricci is just a phenomenal actress anyway, but I don't know who first thought of her as Harley, but it's perfect. And she is putting her own spin on it. For example, she's not doing the Boston accent that, Harley's kind of known for, thanks to the late, great, amazing Arlene Sorkin. But, even Kaylee Cuoco and Harley Quinn, just as a comparison, still had notes of the Boston accent, but it was very downplayed. Ricci's not doing that at all. She has this very unique spin on the character. Again, probably very different from how we've seen Harley a lot of the time. Also, I mentioned Bruce Wayne is in this, and I thought, Justin Hartley, that's an odd choice. He does fine. He is probably the weakest of our leads, and don't get me wrong, I do like Justin Hartley. It's just, he is a very odd choice for Bruce Wayne. And I say this like this because he is Bruce Wayne for this story. Until the final maybe 5 minutes of the last episode, Batman does not show up at all. And when he does show up as Batman, it really highlights some of the issues he has. He does not have the authority or the commanding presence at all. He kind of has the rich playboy vibes, but when you're familiar with Bruce Wayne, and there's even parts of it that this story calls out, the whole rich playboy thing is an aesthetic, it's a ruse. Hartley just doesn't really nail it. His performance is earnest, and it works well for what the story is doing. But he is a very weak Batman. He is not a great Bruce Wayne. He's good for what the story needs, but that's about it. And then we have the Joker, Billy Magnuson. Wow. Again, just for how long the Joker's been around and for how all of the actors who have come and gone, who have played this role, I didn't think there was anything new under the sun you could do with the Joker. But Magnuson somehow finds a way. Like, first of all, the chemistry he and Christina Ricci have is electric. All of their scenes together are amazing. They are just golden together. But like the way he talks, he's very subtle, I should say. Like, he does a lot of like the clownish stuff, the puns, the laughing, but there's a lot of things he does that are very subtle. There's a lot of subtlety to him. I say that like it's an elaboration. But, and just, the way he plays it out, the voice he kind of uses for his performance, and the way he talks to Harley, again, I have issues with the Joker kind of having genuine romantic feelings for Harley, but I will say, I never thought this would be a metric in how I measure the Joker, but easily, no contest, Billy Magnuson is the sexiest Joker. But there is really one aspect in which this story plays out that does really well. It's commentary. Like, this story has something to say, and it says it phenomenally well. Like, I already kind of mentioned how it talks about women in the workforce, like this origin for Harley Quinn. It's Harley reaching her breaking point in a workplace that doesn't appreciate her, seeing the world for what it is. Like, ultimately Harley's breaking point is when she learns the chemical plant that essentially killed her father, because again, the chemicals, it is highly implied the chemicals gave him the cancer that killed him. When she learns it is owned by Bruce Wayne and he didn't even realize it, that is the thing that sets her over the edge. So, for one thing, this story also says, aside from the commentary on women in the workforce, this story also very, very bluntly says, eat the rich. Which also, now that I think about it, I kind of have a problem with that. No, it's very, like, it's right. It is absolutely right. But when a corporate product kind of makes a commentary against corporations, it feels hollow. But there is one other commentary this story is making that is absolutely important, and it makes this story so chilling. And that is the treatment of healthcare workers, the healthcare system, healthcare as an industry, especially geared towards mental health, and how, quantity over quality. Like in the first episode, Harley's boss says, you're not supposed to make these connections. You're taking too long. Just drug them, say you're done, and move on. It doesn't, the system claims to care, but in practice, in actuality, it doesn't care. And in a way, that is one of the things that breaks Harley as well. Just, her trying to make an effort. She genuinely cares about her patients in Arkham, but the system is not allowing her to properly administer to them. It's really one of the best things about this story, and it's pretty phenomenal. Like I said, of the three, it is my favorite. Harley Quinn and the Joker Sound Mind is brilliant. It is the one I recommend everyone listen to. Christina Ricci, Billy Magnuson are great. They give some really strong performances, and they play off each other really well, and it is a story that has a lot to say. But those are just my thoughts. Have you heard Harley Quinn and the Joker Sound Mind? Start a conversation in the comments below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Click the bell next to subscribe to get notifications when I upload. In the description box below, you'll find the link to social media where you can follow me and get updates on the channel. And join me next time. This one might take a little bit longer to upload just because I'm on vacation right now. But join me next time when we will return to Batman, the world of Batman Unburied, because it got a season 2. So join me next time when we take a look at The Riddler, Secrets in the Dark. This is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and I'll see you guys next time.